Hey guys, welcome to day number 5 of the 21 days of prayer for your business. You keep coming back. See, we keep meeting here day after day, and I am so excited that you are sticking with it. So let's talk. Day number 5. Now, if you've watched day number 4, which was yesterday, raise your hand. Were you here yesterday, day number 4? You better have been, because if you're watching this, you're watching it out of line. But day number 4, when we were actually ending our time together, I made the comment that today, day number 5, we're talking about always growing. Obviously, I did not look on page number 31 of the book because it is not about always growing. It is about being intentional. So I am so glad that you have grace and mercy with me on this journey because I totally misspoke. So you are not going crazy. You are correct. Today's topic is be intentional. It's hilarious. When I was laying in bed last night and I went to go put the verses for today up in our Facebook group, I pulled it up on my computer and I was like, oh, wait. Be intentional. I could have sworn today is always growing. No. It's be intentional. So today, day number 5, we are going to talk about the importance of being intentional. Being intentional in every area of our life. So you know the routine, you know the drill. Oh, wait, hold up. One more little thing that I'd like to take care of. You see, how my mind goes is if I don't get the little things out of it, really the housekeeping that I do at the beginning of these videos really is for me and my mind, because if I don't say it at the beginning, somewhere along the way of the video, I'm going to be like on this really important point and it's going to like pop in my head and it's all I'm going to think about. So one more thing about yesterday, I realized that I said as I was talking that, and this does not matter to you. Like you were going to say, Monique, why did you even tell us this? But I have to say it. Yesterday when we were talking about that lantern tour, that was not around Halloween. That was in February. It was actually on Valentine's Day. And I have no clue what was in my head about that little haunted tour. But we have been in there when that was going on but didn't go through it. So anyway, my mind is very scattered at times. And that does not matter to you, but it would bug the stew out of me to know that I had not voiced that. So it was February. Now we can go on and accomplish day number 5 in peace. My mind can find rest through the rest of this video. So all right, a little bit more housekeeping. As always, if you are just tuning in, somehow you found this video, I'm so glad you found it, but we're on day number 5. If you have not watched day 1, day 2, day 3, or day 4, hit pause, leave us, go watch the other videos and come back. The way this is set up is really to build upon each other and to kind of go from one topic to the next topic and accomplish that. It's kind of like algebra. Do you remember algebra in school? If you didn't understand this concept, you really weren't going to understand next week's homework, right? And so basically with this is I really want it to build and sink in. Also, in our Facebook group yesterday, I said, I just want to get an idea. How many people are on what day? Like, talk to me. Tell me what day you're on. And a lot of people would be like, oh, I'm on day 2. Sad face, tear rolling down like the little emoji cons. And I'm like, no, it's okay. It is okay if you get behind. Don't feel like you've got to watch 3 or 4 days in one day. Please resist the urge. This is going to be for all of you who are those really analytical, very organized individuals. It is going to be hard for you because you want to check it off and you want to get caught up if you're watching this real time with us. So don't do it. Fight the urge and go through it one day at a time so you can let it sink in. The next thing that I like to say at the very beginning, because it gets asked in the comments a lot, is do I have to have the book? Because I'm going to be talking about the book. Absolutely not. I'm very robotic. You guys could probably do all of the housekeeping by now. But no, you do not have to have the book. If you want the book, we would love for you to have the book. And it is at shop spell out U-Y-O-U, infuse.com. So there you go. We got all of that out of the way. Now we can move forward into day 5. Be intentional. Oh, I love this topic. Every day, I say it every day, this is my favorite. Really, this is my favorite. Don't tell the other days. No, every day is my favorite. And so as I was looking at it, actually last night when I realized that it was on this topic, be intentional and not always growing, I got a little excited because I was like, oh yeah, like I really love talking about this subject. And so I'm very passionate about it, very, very passionate about it. It was a major game changer when I started applying this to my life. So let's go through it again. What have we talked about? Day 1, handing control over to God. Lord, we hand you control. We acknowledge you. We acknowledge that we need you. Day 2, freedom from our past. No longer are we going to let our past mistakes, failures, hurts define our future. We will move forward, and we will not be held back to what that abundant life that Christ Jesus has set out for us. Day 3, you. Watching this right now, yes, you. I'm not talking to anybody else, not your neighbor, not your friend. I'm talking to you. You are uniquely made. You're uniquely made. Don't sit there and shake your head and say, no, Monique, I'm not uniquely made. You are. You are uniquely made. One of the things I've been getting asked a lot is, okay, Monique, this is great. I'm seeing the ways I'm uniquely made. How do I apply it to my business? That is a great question. And we are going to be hitting on that a little bit later. And I decided yesterday what I would love to do is every week do a recap of that week in a special Facebook Live, and that will then be turned over into a YouTube video to where you can bring your questions. You can ask your questions. We'll do it on one evening, maybe Saturday evening, and you can ask your questions and we can just talk through it. And I'll sit there for probably an hour and go through the questions, okay? And so that can be some things that we can walk through. Day 4, yesterday we talked about finding a vision. Now that you've handed over control, you're finding freedom from your past, you're figuring out how you're uniquely made, let's catch a vision. Let's not just catch a vision, let's catch a God vision. And that is by letting Him direct our steps and being a light into our path, which leads us to today, day 5, be intentional. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. It's one thing to hear this. It's one thing to go, okay, I'm reading these words or I'm listening to what you're saying, Monique, but it's another thing to apply it to your life. If you've got the book on page 32, I'm going to read a portion of the first paragraph. And this is what I say. Today, I would like us to focus on the importance of being intentional. You see, we can read things and understand concepts, but we need to be intentional with applying those things to our life and business. I want so badly for you to understand the topics we discuss daily. However, my prayer is you take what you read and apply it to your life. That is where real life change begins to happen. It is where understanding meets intentionality. It is where momentum and motion starts to take place. Honestly, you guys, this is so important. It really is the reason why I created this book, and I did all of the questions and left places for you to write in, was because I wanted it not just to be something you heard, but I wanted you to go and apply it. Think through it, not just think this pertains to somebody else, but really stop, pause, and apply it to your life. How does this apply to my current situation? You know, I told you at the very beginning too, I'm walking through this with you. I have decided every morning to get up and I spend at least an hour going through that day's topic, writing it out. I mean, I'm a book writer. I write all in it. I mean, look, I am a book writer. Nobody can ever, I'm not the friend that says, I'll loan you my book, because my books, I have to write in them, and sometimes I write personal stuff, so I'm not going to let anybody borrow my book. I will go buy somebody a book and give it to them before I let them borrow my book, because I'm a book writer. So anyway, I ask in this, the very first question, if you do not have a book, remember this does not give you an excuse not to do this. Go grab you a notebook and a pen and sit down, and I want you to think about this thing. This is the very first question I asked in the book is, why are we not intentional? Let's think about that for a second. Why do we not apply things to our life? You know, I don't know if you are like me, but I sat in a sermon message series the other day with our pastor. Actually, it wasn't a series. I think it was just one particular sermon. And he was talking about stress. Now, this came at a point in time when I was pretty stressed out. I had a lot on my plate. Is there anybody out there that feel like, I've got a lot on my plate, Monique? There's a lot I'm having to juggle around here. I've got a lot of balls up in the air trying to juggle them, and I'm stressed out. Well, that is how I felt at that given Sunday that I was sitting in our church listening to our pastor, Chris Hodges, speak. And it was on the topic of stress. And everything he was saying, I was like, yeah, I know that. Yep, I do that. I'm like, I know all of these things. I could stand up there and say these exact same things to you, but I'm not applying them to my life. Why do I know these things, but I'm not applying it? Why do we do that? A funny thing happened yesterday. I was sitting here and I was talking to a friend that's in my business, and she was giving me some ideas of some things that would really help make some things easier. And honestly, it's a direction that I felt led to be going into. I really felt like it was confirmation that I was moving in the right direction. I've had other people come to me, not even related to her, actually not even connected to my business that I'm in right now, that would have been saying, I feel like we should connect, and here are some things, and all of these things are starting to line up. And so I'm like, cool, this seems like a direction. But I voiced to her, this is a great idea, but can I be honest with you? I'm a little hesitant because I know that in doing something similar to this in the past couple of years, it has created a little bit of friction with some people, and it's almost created a problem for me, but I know it's the direction I'm supposed to be going. And so she says, so we know where those voices come from, right, Monique? Wait, did you hear what I just said? So I'm saying I'm a little insecure because I know what people have thought in the past when I have done this certain thing. So now I'm worried about what they're going to say in the future. Past, defining future. And she says, Monique, remember what you talked about the other day? Your past, you can't let it dictate your future. And I said, It's a lot easier for me to press record and tell that to you guys sometimes than walk and get out. So it's one thing to know it. I was like, yes, I know. Thank you for reminding me what I tried to teach everybody else. I need to listen to it myself. So I just want to encourage you. We all face it. I even face it. On the other side of this camera, the one who's helping you walk through this, I deal with it too. And so we've got to apply it. It's one thing to speak it. It's one thing to say it. It's one thing to read it. But it's another thing to apply it. So why do we not? What are some things? That's the first question. Oh, sorry. It's the first question that I ask you here on page 32. Grab your notebook if you don't have the book. I say, why is it difficult to put action behind things we know will be good for our lives? Share a few of your thoughts below. Now, I'm going to tell you what I wrote out. I put, we just don't make it a priority. We don't want it bad enough. I'm not focused. I'm too scattered. Too much on my plate. I don't know how to implement it. I don't know. I really just don't know how to implement this. I'm afraid that I won't keep it up. I mean, yeah, Monique, you'll start this, but you won't finish it. That's great. You'll go to the gym for a few weeks. You won't finish it, Monique. You won't stick it out. Or I won't follow through. I won't continue it. So why bother? I mean, why bother? This is too hard. You got too much going on. It's too hard. Just don't put another thing on your plate. I mean, is that some of the things that you wrote down? For me, the biggest of all of those is just focus. My lack of focus and being a little scattered. It is the beauty of one of the things of my personality. Sometimes what your strengths are also your weaknesses. If you can remember that's really good. What your strengths are many times some of your weaknesses, okay? I know that might sound crazy. We'll talk about it later. But the loudest or the thing that's the loudest or the closest to you is usually what gets your attention. I've said this before too. In the process of writing this book, we already had the cover designs. I'd already walked through the process of every one of these days. I tweaked the days just a teeny tad from when I walked through it last year on social media. But the concept, the guts of it, the nuts and bolts of this book were already put together. The only thing left to do was to sit and have intentional writing time. It was in here and it was in here, right? I'm very passionate about every one of these subjects. The only thing I needed to do was sit down and do it. And I could not, for the life of me, make it happen. And I knew I wanted to release this right here at the beginning of the new year. And every day that would go by, I would think, oh my gosh, it's another day that's gone by and I've not got this done. And Eric, our business, our financial guy, was like, listen, Monique, why don't you just put it off and do it next year? And I was like, oh, nuh-uh. That is not going to happen. And that, honestly, that was all that it took for him to say to me. I have no clue if he knew that that lit a fire under me. But the words of him saying, why don't you put it off and do it next year? I was like, not going to happen for the life of me. Because now I understood this is a priority. This is what my mission in life is all about, to get this kind of stuff into people's hands and into their hearts and into their minds and into their homes and into their families. And I am not, because right now, the reason why I'm not doing it is because I'm allowing other things to seem more important. And it was crazy things. It was like crazy things around the house. We had just moved. It was, you know, trying to get this piece of furniture up a banister. I mean, it was like crazy things. And I said, I'm done. Like, get me out of this house. And I look at Jeremiah and I'm like, right now we're going to the beach. Find a place where, I don't care how long it takes, I'm not leaving there until the book is finished. Literally. I book it. I did not even, like, I literally threw clothes in the car, put it in the car. We drove down. I stopped at at a grocery store, loaded up our car, put it in. I literally did not leave that house at all day until the very evening. I would go have dinner. I would come back. I left the house probably 1 hour. That little home is so precious to me because that was the place that I was intentional. Every day I would write. Every day I would go out to the beach, write a couple of chapters. I was intentional, and I extended my time. When I saw, okay, I need another week, I extended my time there. I did not leave until it was done. I was intentional, okay? We all have the choice. We all have the choice, but we can do it or we cannot do it. We have to be intentional. And if you choose not to do it, it's not going to happen. And you just have to know that, okay? So what I want you to do is write down those reasons, okay? Write down the things of why you're not intentional. Anything that comes to your mind. Then the next thing that I want you to do is I want you to think about, what is it every single day that takes up your time? What is it? Write it in your book. That's on page 33, or if you don't have the book, get a notebook and write it out. I want you to tell me, what does a day in the life of you look like? From the time you get up until the time you go to bed, write it out. I mean, be crazy detailed, okay? I get up, I brush my teeth. Speaking of brush your teeth, I totally got toothpaste all on me. That's a major squirrel moment. Write it down. I get up, I brush my teeth, I take a shower. I get up, I read my Bible. I get up, I go to the gym. I get up, I run. I get up, I walk. I get up, I turn on the TV. I get up, I read the newspaper. I get up and I grab my phone and I scroll through Facebook for an hour. I get up, what do I do? I get up, I cook breakfast. I get up, I get the kids to school. Go through your day at minute by minute. Literally, you guys. Go through your day. Now, go through your week. What does it look like? Mondays, I do this. Monday nights, I go here. Tuesday nights, I go here. Wednesday nights, I go here. Thursday nights, I go here. Friday nights, I go here. Saturday nights, I go here. Sunday, we do this. Okay? Write it down. Month. January, we typically do this. February is a business meeting. February, we always go here. January, February, March, I had to go through the March. What do? This is typically when I have this event that I go to. You know what I'm saying? Go through day to day, hour to hour, day to day, week to week, month to month. Write it down, okay? Write it all out. Start seeing, be intentional, and look at where you spend your time and what you do. Because if you don't know how you spend it, it's an eye-opener. I mean, I did this exercise too, and I wrote down what I did. I wrote down minute by minute. I wrote what my day looks like, okay? Now, after you do this exercise, I want you to think about this. Okay, don't go through this while we're actually talking. If you've already done it in the book, great. But after you've written out that list, so do this later tonight if you haven't done it in the book. Look at that list, and now I want you to circle or highlight all of the things that are so important to you. Like, they are non-negotiables. Those are the things that like light a fire. Those are the things that you got to do. Those are the things that I am not going to cross off. These are the things that have got to get it into my everyday. It's got to happen. I want you to write those down, okay? Circle them, highlight them. Those are things you value. Those are things that are so important to you that you are not going to budge on. Now, I want you to let your mind go here. What are some things that maybe did not make it on the list, but are very important to you, that as you're writing, you're thinking, dang, that did not get it on my list. Man, why did that not make it? This is so important to me. So write it down. So think about things that are valuable to you. What are things that are so important? I want you to write it down. Now, there is not this master list of values that are right or wrong, okay? There's not. Values are what is valuable to you. If you've followed my journey long enough, if you've heard me speak at different events, you've probably heard me talk on this topic because it's very important to me. If your values are not making it into your day, you can feel it. That is the time that you feel off balance, you feel out of whack, something's not right, you're not content, you're uneasy, because the things that are important to you are not getting into your day. I am not of the mindset that you've got to do it all. I am not of the mindset that there is this list of these amazing things and you've got to get every one of them in your day to be balanced. I believe the secret to finding balance is the secret to knowing who you are and to knowing your passions and to knowing your values and making sure those get into your day. That is when you're balanced. That is when you're balanced. When what is important to you is making it into your day. Okay? So now the next thing that I want you to do is I want you to think about, what are time wasters? What are some things that made it on my list, and why do I let those distract me? What is it? You know, I mean, is it watching TV? Do you work at home? Do you work at home and for some reason you turn the TV on every single day? Can you pause, please, 1 second and let me close that blind? There is a massive tractor. This is hopefully my one and only squirrel moment in this 21 days, but there is this massive tractor and I cannot let my eye not focus on that. So if you just pause, play music, think about what I've just said, and let me close this blind, it's really gonna help me get through the rest of this time, okay? Hold on 1 second. Guys, I love you. Thank you for letting me work through my quirky things. But that, honestly, that's me being intentional, right? Okay, let's turn that into a great talking point. That is me being intentional, because knowing who you are, knowing what your weaknesses are, and also being intentional and not just knowing it, but then going and doing something. So I knew that bright yellow tractor that is on this beautiful white beach was like standing out like a sore thumb, and I had to be intentional and close that blind. Okay, so now we can make it through and I can stay focused. But think about, what are time wasters? What are things that you do every single day that if you could just turn it off, you would get a little bit more done? Do you work at home? If you work at home, turn the TV off during the day. The TV doesn't need to be on. You know, Jer and I, we're just not massive TV watchers. When we do watch TV, we carve out intentional TV time. We do. I mean, if we're sitting down to watch TV, it is usually as a family, Jeremiah, myself, and the girls, and it is something that actually we turn into a quality time with the kids, or whether it's watching Mythbusters with Elena. You know what I'm saying? Like, we try turning it into intentional time, but it's not just a time sucker, a time waster. It's funny, we had some people visit us whenever we lived in Utah, and one day we woke up and the TV was on, and it was kind of like, what is that noise? Oh, we're just so used to not having the TV on. So and that's just something for me. You know, don't get legalistic in these things, but honestly, evaluate your list. What are things that really you could do away with that can help you be more intentional with the time that you have? Because look at these verses. Psalms 90:12 Teach us. This is so good, you guys. Remember, thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. We go to the word to get direction. There is great nuggets of truth and wisdom in the Bible. It says, teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Let's think about this for a second. As I was reading over that verse this morning, and this is a lot of the reason why I want you, remember I showed it to you yesterday, either grab this book or you go grab an index file and you write them down, or you print out these verses. Think on them all day long, because I believe as you memorize and as you meditate on the word, the Lord gives you divine revelation. Think about it. Don't just read it quickly. Think about every single word and how you can apply that word to your life. So as I was reading this morning, teach us to number our days. So that's teaching us to make our days count. Now listen to this, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Teach us to number our days. Teach us to make our days count, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. You know, I got to thinking about that. And when you really start to think about numbering your days, like if I were to say you've got 2 days left to live. Sorry. You've got 2 days left to live. You're going to number those. You are going to number every minute. You are going to number every hour. You are going to every second. You are going to number it, and you are going to make it count, and you are going to invest in things that are so important to you. That's your heart. Like, not just things that are here or materialistic things, or you're gonna do some things that were deep inside of you that you wanted to do. And to me, I believe when you really start to think about numbering your days and making them count, you reach down into this deep part of your heart of what is valuable and what is important, and therefore you gain this heart of wisdom. And again, I could be totally, butchering that verse apart, but that's just what it was impressed upon me as I was reading it, of how important it is. We really do go to the heart issues whenever we're trying to make something count, okay? The next verse that is so amazing is Jeremiah 6:16. Stand at the crossroads and look. Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient path. Ask where the good way is and walk in it. Okay? Oh, this next part is so good. Let me read that first part again. Stand at the crossroads and look. I'm a visual. You're standing there and you're standing at the crossroads and you're trying to look. And you're asking, where's the ancient way? What has been good? What is the good way? What has worked in the past? What does the Bible say? So stand at the crossroads. I'm sitting here at a transition. I'm trying to ask where the good way is. Ask the ancient way. And then walk in it. Don't just ask, but now decide to walk. You're being intentional. You went from looking, standing, observing to walking, moving, getting some motion. And listen to what happens when you do that. It says, and you will. Not maybe. You might. If you're lucky, no, it says, and you will find rest for your soul. Isn't that really, don't we all want that? We just want a little breathing room. We just want rest. I'm so stressed out. I'm so weighed down. I just want a little bit of rest. Well, let's stand at the crossroads and look and observe and ask what the good way is. And then let's walk in it. And that is what you're doing right now. That is why I'm so excited that you're sticking this out. That is the reason why I am going to hound you in that Facebook group to not give up. Because you are putting in motion these good ways, these biblical ways. And you are not just seeking, you're walking it out. Then you are going to find rest for your souls. Oh, it's so good. It is so good. Okay. So now let's go into a little bit deeper as you're doing this when we're discussing your values. I believe the game changer for me in my business, guys, game changer. I need you to know that the things that I'm bringing to you are actually these things that are 100%, not a shadow of doubt in my mind, that were very strategic and very walked out and very a vital part of my journey the last 4 years, okay? We've gone through them. Remember, handing over control. I give you control, Lord. I've got to find freedom from my past mistakes, hurts, and failures. Lord, how am I uniquely made? Show me the ways that I'm uniquely made. Lord, give me a vision, a God vision. Now, Lord, I need to be intentional. These are my values. How can I apply them? Now, I need you to know what I'm about to tell you, these questions that I'm about to ask you, came to me, and it was things that I had heard and I obviously probably knew, but I was not applying them. I was not being intentional. And Jerry and I went to Disney Institute in Orlando, Florida, and it was like a 3 or 4 day seminar, and it's where it was a bucket list item for me. I always wanted to do it because I'm always intrigued with certain things that they do. Disney is by far perfect, and I don't agree with everything that they do, so let me say that right now, but there are a lot of things that they do right that I love to study business wise. Okay, so don't send me hate mail. I'm not saying that I agree with everything they do, but there are things that I like that they do with excellence, and so we went to study it. I've looked at it for a long time, and it was a lot of money. I could never afford it, but when we finally got to a point where our paycheck allowed us to do this, I signed us up, and I was so ecstatic. Can I tell you, I don't remember what day it was on, but it was a very simple subject of values that literally changed the direction that I was going in my business. You know, this is a journey. You're not just going to get a God vision and, okay, this is the way I'm going to go, and it's never going to change or turn. You've got to constantly be allowing Him to light your way. And in this class, they started talking to us about values. What do you value? What's important to you? Any business class you've probably ever taken, or any seminar you've probably ever gone to, you've probably heard that. What are your values? That's no like secret that people do that in their business. People, you go into a store and they have it up on their wall, or they've got it on their website. There's things. This is a very common business practice to know what your values are. And so they say, what are your values? They give us this list of all of these words and circle it and write it out. Now narrow it down. Then they asked these questions that I'm about to ask you that completely stopped me in my tracks. And I was like, oh my goodness. Wow. I've never really thought about it that way. That it's really just the nitty-gritty of being intentional with my values. Now listen, the first thing they said is narrow your values down to your top ones. These are things that are valuable to you. Now, tell me, and this is what I ask on page 35. And if you don't have the book, write it in your notebook. How are these things that are valuable to you currently making it into your business? If you're watching this and you don't have a business, how's it getting into your life? This can apply to anything. This is life, business, whatever. But how is it applying to your business? How are you getting your values? So I'm going to tell you what mine are. Some of mine are. I've got a lot of values, but God is my faith, massive value to me. Family, my family is very important. Wellness, just living a life, me taking care of my family. Growing is very important. I believe when we're going to talk about that tomorrow. But growing is very important, and if you're not growing, you're stagnant. If you're not growing, you're dying. Bring others hope. Bringing others hope. That is a huge value. So I'm not for sure if those were even the 5 that I wrote down. I've tweaked them over the last couple of years, but I realized, okay, well, how are my values getting into my business? So that's what I'm asking you. Please don't, your values, just because I voiced those to you, those are not the perfect values. Those are what's valuable to me. What is valuable to you? I've got some dear friends in the business that I'm with who have a massive heart for foster care, a massive heart for adoption. Fantastic things to have a heart for. In my business, I have people who have this massive heart for special needs children. So all of these things, a massive heart for missions, there's people in my business who have this massive heart for Africa and going over and building huts and putting mosquito nets up. And so I'm connected to so many people who have got so many things that are so valuable to them. But I don't wake up this morning and go, Monique, you did not raise money for 10 mosquito nets. You are a loser and that person is awesome. Monique, you did not sign up to be a foster parent, and so therefore you are a loser, and you really need to just hang up your hat here. You really don't need to do this. No, those things are awesome, and honestly, those things are important. I think they're great. I would give to it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to balance myself. Please understand my heart. I'm not saying that I don't like all of those things, but I'm just saying these are the things that are valuable to me. Those are the things that are very valuable to them. And if those things don't get into their daily agenda, into their business, into their walk, they are not going to be content. My friends, it's actually Kari Lewis and Madison Vining, who are in my business, who have these massive hearts for adoption and for foster care. It makes it into their business. I watch it. It has inspired me. Their heart for that topic, for that, has inspired me. It has motivated me to be better, okay? It's motivated me to open my eyes to see the need and to see what's out there. I've watched videos they've shared. I've listened to stories, and I actually watched one last night and sat and sobbed in bed watching the story. Because of their passion and because of their value, it has brought light to something that I really was not aware of the need to that extent. But it's because they embrace their value into their business. Right now, God, my faith and the things, me embracing that is bringing awareness maybe to you or maybe to somebody else who've never really given it a second thought, because I'm being intentional with something that is of value to me. But just because it's value and just because it's important does not mean that it looks like how I'm doing it. So you don't have to lead a 21 days of prayer if that's not your thing. That doesn't mean you're any less important of a person. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be impactful. It doesn't even mean that God is not able to use you. God can use you when you are you. God uses you best when you embrace what your passions are, what your strengths are, what your values are. And that is when you find rest for your soul. That is when you find contentment. When you are numbering your days and you are putting in it what is so important to you. So please don't get hung up that there is this master list of values, and that if you are not getting those, if they don't look like mine, or they don't look like Madison's, or they don't look like Kari's, that you're a loser. That is not the case. You embrace you. Okay? So now, how are they making it into my day? How are they making it into my everyday? How are they making it into my business? Monique, how are you embracing God into your everyday? Monique, how are you embracing your family into your everyday? How are you embracing wellness? How are you embracing growth? How are you embracing giving hope to others into your everyday? Now, how are you not doing it that you could? I need you to understand right now what you are watching, this Facebook Live. What you are watching is me applying this concept. It is me being intentional. It is me walking. This is a value. This is important. This is a passion. I'm being intentional and I'm walking it out. Okay? I did the 21 days. It was important to me. I never had written a book. On 2013, 2014, 2015, it's just now 2016. But what is it? It's because I've sat down and I've evaluated and I said, how can I embrace my values even more into my business? You guys, I'm content. I am content. I can go to bed at night and lay my head down and know that I'm doing what I was made to do because I'm being intentional with my values. And I don't let it get me down. I don't lose a minute of sleep that I didn't sign up to go to Africa next month and go hang up mosquito nets. I don't let that bother me, because there is somebody out there that the Lord has laid that upon their heart, and they are embracing their passion and their value, and the Lord is using them in mighty, mighty ways there. but I'm confident that I am doing what's been put before me, and I lay my head down at night knowing that I'm putting my values into my everyday. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you get that, okay? Now, Monique, how are you growing every day? Monique, how are you growing? How are you bringing others hope? How are you embracing wellness? How can you be intentional? What are things that you can do, not that you're currently doing? What are some things that you're not doing that you can embrace into your business? Guys, today's topic is huge in your business. You are never going to be happy or content if you are not getting those things, your why, those things that are important to you in your business. Times are going to get hard, and you're going to hang up the towel. You're going to hang up the hat. You're going to go, I'm done. Stethoscope, do you remember me telling you that? Whenever I was done at work, things got to a point that it got so stinking horrible that I said, done. Badge off. That's what happens, okay? Again, that was for me. I was walking outside of my gifts and my talents. Don't make me explain. Nurses are valuable. It was not my cup of tea. It wasn't the path that I was supposed to take. So unless those things that are important to you are getting into your everyday and getting into your business, the first hiccup's going to come along and you're going to throw in the towel. Do you think my journey has been easy the last 4 years? Oh, no, it hasn't. There have been times that I wanted to say, is this worth it? My paycheck is enough. My paycheck can keep coming in. I'm really done. Like, dealing with people, it's not fun. I mean, people can be mean. Do I want to deal with this every day? I can still keep getting my paycheck. But no, Monique, that's not what it's about. You're on a mission. You're on a mission to show other people hope. You're on a mission to show other people Jesus. And this is where you're doing it. And this is the doors that have been opened. And you are going to walk in this. And so days when it's hard, I remember my why, or I remember what I value, okay? So, what are things that you're not currently doing, and how can they get it into your everyday? And this next one, guys, listen, this set me on a path different about 2-year mark into my business. I would say 1.5 years, 2 years into my business. This next question rocked my ever-loving world. It says, are you doing anything in your business that goes against your values? Or how can you make changes to line up your actions with your values a little bit more? And I'm telling you, I had to stop and go, Monique, what is your true mission? What is your true mission? What is it that you're wanting to do? And right now, what I'm doing, what you're watching, is my true heart and mission. It's really what I wanted. I wanted to embrace my faith so deep, not just surface level, deep. I wanted to get deep. I wanted to do Bible studies. I wanted to do book studies. I wanted to do prayer, walk out prayer times with people. Like, these are the things that I really wanted to do. And I was not walking in that direction. Now, I had to stop and go, okay, here's what it is. It doesn't mean that this other path is wrong or bad or anything like that. It just means that I've got to move in the direction that I really feel being pulled towards and what is so important to me, and go after it. And so, I made that decision. When I made that decision, there's some things that could come along and people could try bringing drama or whatever to it, but no drama to be had. It's not one is better than the other. It is just, I have got to move confidently and boldly in the direction that is set out before me, that really gets down to those huge, massive values that I'm not gonna compromise on. You know what I'm saying? And so when I finally did that, it was rest for my soul. It was rest for my soul. And I just need you guys to know that these exercises, game changers for me. Everyone that I'm bringing to you are things that I've applied. It's things that have been so vital in the success that I think and I believe that I have found. And so I want you to go through those things today. I'm just going to go over them, then we're going to pray, and then I'm going to go over some walkout points, and we're going to end our time. But again, what are your values? What are the things that are your non-negotiables? What are the things you're not going to budge on? If they don't make it into your day, you feel a little, oh, shoot, I should have done that. Now, look at your time wasters. How are they taking away? Make your days count. What am I currently doing, not doing, that I could be doing to get my values into my everyday more, or into my business more? And now, what are some things that I'm doing? Maybe they're not bad. they're not bad, but how could I realign and readjust to where I'm executing my values with more tenacity? And do I need to course correct? Do I need to stand at the crossroads and look where the ancient way is and walk in it? You know what I'm saying? And then you're going to find rest for your souls. Now, we're going to end in prayer, and then don't leave me, because I want to tell you another little something that I want you to participate in. That was a massive, massive, massive game changer for me. Okay, let's pray. Lord Jesus, oh, I love you so much. And I thank you. I thank you for this journey. This journey of the last 4 years have been mind-blowing. When I began to hand things over to you, when I began to find freedom from my past and from my mistakes, and just really from the lies that the enemy speaks. Lord, when I decided to discover my unique design the way you created me, when I caught a vision from you, and when I started applying and being intentional with all of those things, it was a game changer. And I pray that for every single person who is participating this 21 days, Lord, that you give divine wisdom and revelation. My words, they could go in one ear and out the other, but Lord, I know they don't make lasting life change, but an encounter with you brings crazy life change. And that's what I ask. I ask, Lord, that you just speak to people during this time as they seek after you, that they find you. As they're knocking, that you open the door. Lord, I pray that you begin to reveal values, that you begin to reveal gifts and talents, passions. And Lord, not only as you begin to reveal it, but show them ways that they can apply this to their life and to their business. Show them ways that they can embrace their values and the things that are important to them into their everyday. Lord, open their eyes. Lord, may they find rest for their souls as they look and stand and observe what the good way is, and they begin to walk in it. I love you, Jesus. I pray that you be with everybody today as they go about their day. Continue to bless them and strengthen them and restore them and help them find freedom in your name. Amen. All right, guys. Let's go over the walkout points, and then we'll end our time together. If you've got the book, it's on page 37. And we are going to walk through some things that you can apply. So it's great, Monique. This is great. I love hearing you talk about it, but how can I apply it a little bit more? So write out your top 5 values. So pick out 5. Pick out your top 5 values on several note cards and place them where you can see them often. Be intentional with these values and fight to get them in your day. Number 2, commit to taking at least one time waster and eliminating it from your daily agenda. I believe in you. You can do it. High five for sticking with this focused time of prayer. So high five. You are being intentional. Yay, you. Keep on keeping going. So right now, what you're doing, you're being intentional. Now here's the good one. Here's the good one that I want you to apply. Now this is going to take a little bit of time, and it may take you a month to go through it. But I want you to carve out some time and to walk this out, okay? Actually, when the 21 days are over, this is something that I'm wanting to continue to walk out with you guys, and it's going to be the series. So even if you wait and do it after the 21 days is over, this is something that I'm going to continue to walk out with you guys, because I don't want our time to end. But this message that I'm about to tell you was a huge game changer for me. It says, one of my favorite series from Church of the Highlands is called 5. This was a game changer for me. Set aside time to check it out. You can watch or listen to this, www.churchofthehighlands.com/media/series/5. Can you see that? It's going to be backwards. Take a screenshot. I got mascara all on my thing. Forgive me. Watch that, guys. That was a huge game changer for me. One of the best sermon series I've ever listened to. There's another one I'm going to tell you later on in this book that was a major game changer for me, but this one was awesome. And then finally, I want you to meditate and memorize on Psalms 90:12, Jeremiah 6:16, and James 4:14. Did I not read James 4:14? I didn't put it in the book. I have no clue if that's a typo, but I'll research it. Hey, I don't know what James 4:14 is, but let's read it. Let me look and see if I've got it in the flip book. This is hilarious. This is real life, people. This is real life. Oh, yeah. James 4:14 just didn't make it in the book, obviously, or I skipped over it. Or maybe it's because I say it in the prayer. James 4:14, let me read it to you. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. I think the prayer I wrote out in the book, I had mentioned that verse is the reason why I listed it there. James 4:14. Let me say it again. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. All right. That's not a happy note to end on. It is what it is. It's the truth. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much for sticking with this and coming back each and every day. Tomorrow, always growing. Really, that's what the topic is about. Okay, I promise this time, always growing. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Love you guys.